Are you renting? Do you feel like homeownership is slipping through your fingertips further and further away? As your rent increases, you have less money saved up and home prices are increasing. Everything seems to be out of reach for you. Well, we've put together a program to help you get out of that lease and get into homeownership. Myself and the Ruth team at Fairway Mortgage have up to a $5,000 credit for you when purchasing a home when you are in a lease. No matter if your lease expires next month or 2 years from now, we have this program. We're offering this credit because it is a passion of Nicole and I's to get you into homeownership and make it happen. Stay tuned, and we talked to Nicole Ruth about this new program, why it's a window of opportunity, and where it all comes from. Hey everybody, Jeremy Kane, eXp Realty. Thanks for tuning in to Why Invest Wednesday. As always, smash that subscribe button, like, comment. If you are one of those renting a home right now, please shoot me a DM, give me a comment, give me a text, 303-210-0378. I will connect you with the Ruth team and we will get you enrolled in this program. You don't want to miss it because literally it's a free $5,000. And at the end of the day, you become a homeowner, quit paying your landlord's rent, and quit paying that 100% interest rate that you are in your lease. So let's dive in with Nicole right now. All right, I'm Jeremy Kane and I have Nicole Ruth here today. So excited to launch this lease buyout program that we have masterminded and created over the last week or so to help renters become homeowners. Both of us do a lot of volume, and it is my goal especially to take 10 people who are renting homes and turn them into homeowners as kind of my target audience. You know, it's nice working with the $1 million listings and all that stuff, but there is a special place in my heart for the first time homeowner. And I know that right now a lot of the headlines are talking about how hard it is and how the market is, unaffordable. And, Nicole's been on the news and talking about, all of this stuff. But the truth is there is a little bit of a window of opportunity. So Nicole, welcome. And let's dive into kind of what you're seeing in the headlines and all the drama. Why are we now introducing this program that's going to help people terminate their leases?
Hey, you and I are both on the same page. We love the path to home ownership because of the options and the opportunities it provides. Right now, we've got this little window that most people don't know about because the headlines have been talking about the inaffordability of the real estate market. They've been talking about how interest rates are going up. They've been talking about how limited inventory is creating this crisis. Well, right now, for whatever reason, I know what the reason is. It's because of the rising interest rates. Because of the rising interest rates, we are seeing a slight slowdown in demand. That slight slowdown in demand is giving us a little more inventory. We're also backing into the seasonal period where you see more inventory. So that inventory is coming online. We're seeing a little more days on market. And so with that, more inventory, longer days on market gives buyers options. And with options, they're not jumping into the first one. And we're seeing some homes aren't going under contract the first weekend. They aren't going under contract for $50,000 over. And with interest rates, interestingly, this week they're dipping slightly, but I would tell you that this economic situation that we're in right now, being run by the Fed, is going to push us into some level of recession. I am certainly not worried about it. I think it will be quick and I think it will be shallow, but that recession will bring lower interest rates, which will allow the buyers today to refinance into lower monthly payments, probably sometime early next year.
Yeah, and from my perspective, I mean, as a home buyer, especially first-time home buyer, when you don't have all the bells and whistles, you don't have all the cash up front, the appraisal gaps and things like that, all I need is 24 hours of no offers, right? If I can submit an offer and give somebody 24 hours to accept it, especially if it's not on that opening weekend, we can make this happen. And as it goes and as we get further and further down the line here and, sellers are understanding the market a little better, they're willing to accept what they put the house on the market for. And if you can just get in there with limited to no competition, that's a win in my book. And I'm very competitive, and I'm a coach at heart. So that's where it's at for me as a window of opportunity. If I have 24 to 48 hours where there's not an offer on a house and I have a prepared, ready to go buyer, we can make this happen. And the truth is, like, you can never time it right. We talk about a lot of this, holistically from the interest rate perspective, right? People are always like, when's the interest rate going to go? When's the market going to go down? Whatever that may be, you can't time the market right. And so this lease buyout program, essentially between the Ruth team and myself, you are going to earn up to a $5,000 credit. A lot of that's from my commission. Nicole has a couple options as well there. And essentially, most lease buyouts that I've seen are either 2 months rent or $5,000. Now, there is the offshoot of, crazy $20,000 buyouts and things of that nature. But we've put together a program to essentially pay for that lease buyout. And if you do happen to be in a position where you time it right and you're nearing the end of your lease, maybe that's a credit towards, something else that you can use. But essentially, if you have a lease in hand and you're under a lease, we can help you with that termination so that you do not have to wait for that perfect time, because the market might not be right at that time. So talk a little bit about your side of it and what the passion is behind helping these people get into home ownership, and what we're going to do as a whole to make this happen.
I do love this specific program, right? This buying out of a lease, the whole idea of it is that last year and really the last 2 years have been intense, like overly intense, where first-time homebuyers haven't been able to get in. They've been outbid, the number of bids, the amount of money over the bids, they just simply haven't been able to get in. So they've given up. They've re-signed that lease. Leases are up nationally and here locally. I mean, they're up over 15.5% year over year for new leases and about 8% for renewals. When you're trapped in that cycle of increasing rents, you're not able to save, you're not able to build financial stability and wealth, and you're not able to create the kind of lifestyle that you want to create. Home ownership does that. And so the timing was perfect. It's like if you gave up and you re-signed a lease and you don't know that there's a little more inventory and that interest rates, yes, while high, will come down, offering you the ability to get in and then to refinance later. This is the opportunity right now. Because we're in the spring, because we're seeing, in fact, just this last week, we saw an 8% increase in inventory nationwide. That increase in inventory is your open door. You might not know that that door is open, and that's why we want to do this, to say, if the lease is the reason that you're hung up in doing this, then let's push that excuse to the side and let's get you in where you're now paying your own wealth. You're paying your principal reduction, you're paying for your appreciation opportunity, and you're building the kind of stability that you want. I know that, Jeremy, you often quote, and I love this, it's how much are you saving when you're paying your mortgage or when you're paying your rent? And it's quite eye-opening because the opportunities really come in home ownership.
Right. And people talk a lot about the interest rates, and I tell people, well, you're paying 100% interest on your rent. All of that money is going to the corporation that you pay or the landlord that you pay, where as a homeowner, you definitely have then all of a sudden that 5-6% interest rate that's really high right now is a lot less than your 100% interest rate you're paying. So that's just another way that I am willing and Nicole is willing to get you into home ownership. And it's literally not an excuse, right? When we're looking at all these cash needs and you have the down payments and you have the closing costs and all this, and then you have the lease buyout, maybe that was the one thing that you're like, I'm just going to wait. Right. And eliminating that is huge for us moving forward. And we got to get these renters in home ownership. Changed my life. I know home ownership has changed your life over your investment portfolio and all of that. And we can couple all of that down the road, but getting into one is totally different. If I have somebody that got into a house, let's go back 5 years, and they call me 2 years after they bought a house, they were able to move up and buy that next move up home, inching closer to their dream home. It's not going to be your dream home at first. I don't live in my dream home. Nicole doesn't live in her dream home. It's a process, but you got to start the process somewhere, because you can't go from renting to the dream home. So if someone is renting now or knows someone that's renting, Nicole, what is the very first step? And I'll let you explain this because I tell people all the time, but what's the first step to take advantage of this program?
The first step is to get pre-approved. We've got to know what your numbers are. Jeremy can't set up a search for you, can't help you. And if there's anyone you want searching for homes, Jeremy is a pit bull. He's going to find that home and he's going to squeeze in and get it under contract. But he can't know where to start if we don't know what your numbers are. So step one is getting the full pre-approval. And then once we know your numbers, having a consultation with Jeremy, myself, and you in determining what does that path look like? How quickly can we close? What, if any, obstacles are there? What is the buyout for your lease? And then optimizing the gift that Jeremy is giving, the gift that we're giving, and letting you know what that amount will be based on your purchase price and based on your lease needs. So the first step is getting pre-approved. The second step is setting up a search and allowing Jeremy to help you find that perfect home. And then the third step is getting you under contract. And that's what our goal is to do.
Absolutely. And if Nicole has an extensive team, and that first conversation with Nicole she'll pair you with somebody on her team, whether it's Nikki or Eric or, people in the specialty fields that match your personality. And then it's a conversation, right? It's not like, Nicole's not going to say, hey, give me your W-2s, give me all your credit history right now. It's going to be matching someone on her team that can help you, guide you through the process, and hopefully speed this up. And if you just signed a lease and you're like, well, I don't want to buy for a year for whatever reason, the time to talk to the Ruth team is now, because there are things that we can do in the meantime to get your credit to where it needs to be, to prepare, to help you save, to budget. And so it doesn't hurt to reach out to Nicole and have that conversation. And she's like on the news and stuff. She's famous and she doesn't bite. So absolutely so excited for this program. Nicole, where can people reach you if they're interested in taking advantage?
I think just check us out on the website, theruthteam.com. Ruth has an E in it, so it's RUETH. Or you can always give us a call. We'll make sure to have all of our contact information attached to this video. But reaching out is the first step, not being afraid, letting us know what your goals are and us helping you achieve them.
If you're renting a house or you're renting an apartment, you've maybe given up on the real estate market, Nicole says now is the time. And she's going to talk about that real quick.
Really fast. If you don't know, we saw an 8% increase in inventory just last week. With that increase in inventory, you have an opportunity to get in that we haven't seen in years. And maybe you signed a lease and maybe we can buy you out of that. That's what this program is all about, getting you into home ownership and out of that lease that's costing you money.
Up to a $5,000 credit when you are in a lease, and we can get you out of that lease into home ownership and start building wealth through real estate. That is our goal. Reach out to Nicole or myself, comment below, and we will absolutely introduce this program to you and help you become a homeowner and start living the American dream.